breaking his jaw in training.
You train for 5 weeks with your halves pairing, and then he goes out with a broken jaw, and then you change that. There's a bit of combination between obviously the forwards, the halves, and the backs. That there's got to be some links.
But he's back for the home clash with the Bulldogs. Robinson hoping he'll help Cooper Cronk and James Tedesco click better with their new teammates.
I want to see him get in there and help our combinations again. We need sharp improvement on what we did on Saturday night, and if we get that improvement that we want to see, then it shouldn't be too long.
Bulldogs coach Dean Pay only had to look at the scoreboard to know where his team went wrong in their season opener.
36 points is probably not acceptable by our standards, so we've done a bit of work on our defence this week.
Pay fearful pre-season favourites the Roosters will take their round one loss out on his rebuilding lineup.
No one likes to be criticised, so we're expecting a really tough battle.
Neil Breen, NBN News.
Is the teenager who arrived at the Knights with a $3 million price tag, but already looks worth every cent. Kalen Ponga shone in round one and earned plenty of praise, just not from himself. It took Kalen Ponga all of 3.5 minutes to make his mark.
This kid has such a bright future.
The Knights and their fans left ecstatic, but he isn't.
It's round one, round one's round one. I just want to do what I did last week, this weekend, and try and consistently play.
As expected, the 19-year-old received some extra attention in his club debut.
I didn't actually notice it. I'd say it was an accident. I'm sure he accidentally did that one.
It was his own defence that gave him the most satisfaction, including this cross-field try-saver.
All the best fullbacks, that's their strong point in the game. Billy Slater, he's another defender. Brownie's into me about it, and my old coach Greeny was into me about it as well. So it's definitely something I want to improve.
Connor Watson is another settling in, but not quite into the halves. He came to Newcastle for the number 6 jumper, although he's now sharing it with Brock Lamb.
I'm starting there, so that's sort of what I wanted to do, was starting that jumper. But if for the team's sake, if I need to move into 9 for a period of time there, I'm happy to do that.
With Lamb poised for more minutes, Watson could see further time at hooker against the Raiders, and facing a monster forward pack, he expects to be targeted.
Being a little bloke, you have to make probably most of the tackles because they sort of see the height difference in the line and run at you. Every time I've played hooker, I've always sort of been running a fair bit. But, it's NRL, it's first grade. You can't really hide out there in any position.
After first accepting the penalty, South Africa is now appealing the 2-test suspension handed to paceman Kagiso Rabada. Tensions between the two sides remain high, with Vernon Philander claiming Steve Smith was to blame for the contact, which led to Rabada's suspension. On Twitter, the paceman said he could have avoided any contact, but to me, he is just as guilty. Trying some football skills to get a penalty, pity he didn't dive to top it off. In just a moment, Jeff Hornskamp hits out after his rival postpones their world title fight. And nothing but net. A teenager becomes an instant basketball star.
Back yourself with Ladbrokes at Rosehill and Flemington and get top odds on races 1 to 4 this Saturday. Ladbrokes, back yourself.
I'm very impressed with Novacare, as I tell my friends. Live your way like Gwen, with an award-winning home care package for your home, health, respite and life, with locals who care. Novacare. Trade and save at Domain. Get up to $300 off your new fridge or washer. Trade in old for new, working or not, and get up to $300 off. Plus, bonus delivery and removal. Hurry, Domain's Trade and Save ends Monday.
Check out the amazing Ironman Combo Pack. Bull bar, winch and suspension lift kit. All from an unbeatable price of $3,290. Ironman, Maitland and Cardiff. Check them out today.
Priceline Pharmacy's got the best deals during the Festival of Beauty. Save 40% on the 250ml Schwarzkopf Extra Care Shampoo, Conditioner and Treatment ranges. Plus a 40% save on the 250ml Schwarzkopf Extra Care Shampoo, Conditioner and Treatment ranges. Priceline Pharmacy, where 100% beauty.
It's amazing how much more you can do with our prices.
4 litre British Paints decking oil, only $43.90. Hope 15 litre hose, just $17.94.
Will you
Find a competitor's lower price on the same stock item? We'll beat it by 10%. Lowest prices are just beginning. That's our policy.
Dave was very clear how he wanted today to be, and here we are. It's exactly as planned. Thanks to White Lady Funerals. Planning and prepaying your funeral with White Lady helps your family to respect your wishes.
Yeah, right. Haven't got the roof on yet, Dino.
Can't touch it till Jack's finished the installation.
Right. Jack, what's
Can't do a thing till Mick's done the wiring.
Nick, wiring.
It's waiting on Dano to install solar panels.
So what's holding up the solar?
Get the roof on first, boss.
Ah, he needs a roof.
Okay, boys, back to work.
Neds, it's time to bet.
Lazy Boy Furniture Galleries want everyone to experience Lazy Boy's legendary comfort. So we're having a national relaxation sale with up to 40% off selected Lazy Boy. Take time to relax and live life comfortably. This year, you have the power to help because your purchase of Vaseline supports the Vaseline Healing Project. Join us to help millions in need restore their skin.
Get up to $300 off your new fridge or washer. Trade in old for new, working or not, and get up to $300 off. Plus, bonus delivery and removal. Hurry, Domains Trade and Save ends Monday.
This sport update is brought to you by Cameron Grove Estate. New Portland North release is selling fast.
Australia's ice-addicted grannies.
There's nothing worse than a granny junkie.
What's it going to take for them to finally give it up? A current affair next.
Aussie boxer Jeff Hornskamp has called on Terence Crawford to harden up after the American postponed their world title fight in Las Vegas because of a sore hand.
He seems to me a bit soft. I mean, toughen up, princess.
You should just harden up. Like, seriously, bang it full of cortisone and get on with it, you soft.
The fight will now be rescheduled for May or June. A teenage basketballer in the US has become an online sensation for this underhand half-court shot. It makes the trick shot look easy, sending it straight through the hoop. Both members of his team and the opposition were in awe. A milestone for Lionel Messi, who scored his 100th Champions League goal. Another blow for the Jets, with Wayne Brown ruled out of Saturday's clash with Wellington because of illness. Mario Chabot takes his place on the bench. Dimi Petratos hopes to help Newcastle to a win over the Phoenix before heading to Europe with the Socceroos.
He's played for Australia at every other level, but Petratos is yet to pull on a Socceroos jersey. That could change against Norway and Colombia.
Look, it's every Aussie player's dream to represent their country, and hopefully I get the chance to get some game time.
Former Newcastle teammate Andrew Naboot also made the final squad of 26.
Very happy for him. It's great to go together, have a friendly face that I know really well, that I've been playing with week in, week out.
Petratos says he enjoyed their time building a combination at the Jets and admits Naboot's departure is a big loss. The 25-year-old has also had interest from overseas and is keen to explore his options down the track.
It'd be nice to go back overseas. At the moment, I've still got another year on my contract, and I'll be finishing this season off at Newcastle Jets.
For now, the focus is on the cellar-dwelling Phoenix, who are expected to field another young lineup as they look to the future under interim coach Chris Greenacre.
But fired into the roof of the net by Sarpreet Singh. And the lead didn't last long, did it?
I actually signed Sarpreet Singh as a 16-year-old and brought him into the senior squad down from Auckland to Wellington, and he scored a cracker on debut.
Jets mentor Ernie Merrick has coached most of the Wellington side, including Nathan Burns and Roy Krishna.
So I know what they're capable of, but we're heading to finals football, and it's about us preparing for finals football.
Mitchell Hughes, NBN News.
Meanwhile, former Jet and Newcastle-bred footballer Christian Brymora has spoken about playing in the youth team at Millwall in London, the club whose championship division side features Socceroos Tim Cahill and James Meredith.
When I was younger, I used to watch Tim, so that's a dream come true for me. But for all the younger boys, it's a positive thing to both look up to these two boys, and just for myself as well to look forward and look for that first team position.
Even Meredith appreciates having Australia's greatest goal scorer back at the Lions.
It's fantastic, and he's very professional and he's making me more professional.
The Waratahs have vowed to return to Newcastle and Hunter Rugby's Premier Division in 2020 after announcing they've been forced to drop out of this year's competition due to a lack of players. The Tars needed to field 3 teams in order to stay in the top flight and couldn't work out a compromise with NHRU officials. Club President Greg Taylor says a downturn in junior numbers in recent years has contributed to the decline. Tars officials will now look at improving their funding model, hoping to learn from the success of their women's team in recent years. And Hunter basketball product Laura McSpadden has re-signed with Sydney Uni for the 2018-19 WNBL season. The 18-year-old was part of last season's championship-winning side and also won Basketball New South Wales Award for Best Country Female Player. The Flames general manager says she expects McSpadden to take a bigger role in the team in her 3rd season in the National League.